Bro, what? What are you doing here at the gym?
I don't know, working out. What do you want from me?
What happened to our ACOMAF buddy read? You promised.
I don't want to read some stupid romantasy book, man.
But you promised.
How about this?
Mm-hmm.
You explain the book to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I like it, we'll head out.
Okay.
Hold the bag.
Oh.
All right. How does it start?
Well, it starts with just a little.
Welcome back to another episode of To the Ramble. My name is Richard.
My name is Austin.
Last time we weren't manly enough doing ACOTAR, and I hear the second book is even spicier, even better. So we need to up the manliness to really offset all this feminine energy.
So what we're going to do here is, if you didn't see our ACOTAR review, I spoiled the entire book for Rich, told him what the plot was, and then we buddy read it together. He read it, then we actually talked about it. We're doing that with ACOMAF, A Court of Mist and Fury. I've got it all broken down for you that are watching and for Rich to get our manly energy here. We've got punching bags, we've got dumbbells. How long can you do that dumbbell for? You're still going?
I'm still going. I don't know.
So
I'm ruining myself right at the beginning.
Your arm's just broken.
Let's switch it up.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, first thing I got for you.
Starting now.
ACOTAR.
All right.
Put the weight down first, because I have a quiz for you.
Okay.
A little ACOTAR recap, just to bring us back to speed of
Wonderful.
Getting the setting here. It's been a while since we read it. It was last Valentine's Day, practically.
Yeah.
ACOTAR. Main character. What's their name?
Feyre.
How do you spell that?
F-A-Y.
Give me 3 reps. 3 reps. It's
3 reps.
F-E-Y-R-E. 3. Each side. 1, 2, 3. Good.
All right.
You're never good with names. What's her last name? Give me 3.
It's now Tamlin.
Give me 3.
Isn't it?
No, that's his first name.
Damn it.
It's Feyre Archeron. Is that relevant? Not really.
Archeron.
Yeah,
That's a terrible name.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, it's Archer O-N.
God, fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Go.
Anyways, you can put the weights down. Okay. So if you remember at the end of the book, Feyre sacrificed herself under the mountain. Remember the mountain with Amarantha?
Sacrifice herself. Yeah.
Yes. She saw Amarantha.
She dies. Comes back.
Remember the
to
love
Fae.
poem?
The answer is love.
The answer was love. And-
Love sucks. It's sacrifice, pain, suffering.
Yep.
What am I? Love.
And
Yeah, got it.
she loved Tamlin, and she was trying to save Tamlin. And then she ended up saving all of the Fae community, all the High Fae, sacrificed herself after killing 2 innocents. Do you remember that part too?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. And then after
I do remember the point where she was killing the innocents, and then her big old noodle figured out the riddle.
Couldn't
figure it out
Is that,
before.
fact check us, was the order of events?
Nah, she stabs.
It was stab, then.
Oh, that's the riddle.
There's no way that was it.
Well, no, it would stab, about to stab Tamlin's heart.
And goes, I know the
Oh,
riddle.
I know the thing. He's a stone heart.
That was the order.
Yeah.
So now Feyre's dead.
And it comes back to life.
Because all the High Fae use their powers to bring her back to life.
Yeah.
And Feyre is back, but not as a human, as a High Fae. She's now there.
She got
and
upgraded.
if you remember, because this is important for getting into ACOMAF, she made a deal with Rysand that has to see him weekly. It just, remember that.
It was the whole, Hades and Persephone kind of story, right?
Hades, Persephone, bring me up to Greek lingo.
Isn't the whole thing Persephone eats 6 pomegranate seeds and therefore has to go into Hades for 6 months of the year? That's the whole.
Maybe.
I think.
Maybe.
I think that's what it's a reference to.
I kind of think, as a child of divorce, it's like you got to split time between mom and dad.
Ah,
that's
sadder.
Yes. Spoiler alert.
My parents are still together. Yours aren't. Spoilers.
No. So have to split time between Tamlin and Rysand.
Yeah.
It's parents of the. Spoiler warning. Rysand ends up being the daddy in this situation. Rysand is the. Okay.
Yeah. He's the bad boy
Complete.
with a heart of gold.
Exactly. Complete. So let's get you back into ACOMAF now, okay? 3-month time skip. We are now in ACOMAF. What happened in the book? I already gave you a little bit of seed of spoilers, of course. This is all spoilers for ACOMAF, so if you don't want that, this is not your place.
Yeah.
Tamlin, Rysand. Tamlin, bad. Rysand, good. How do we get there is the question. Because Tamlin was supposed to be good, Rysand was supposed to be bad. Because we saw Rysand was in the last book, like, oh my God, look at this bad guy. Tamlin, look at this knight in shining armor, okay?
Okay.
So we start off 3 months after the events of ACOTAR. She is with Tamlin in his Fae area. But it turns out Tamlin's overprotective. Tamlin...
Well, he did see her die.
So he's overprotective for a reason, but it's too much and no longer... There's no
It's
longer...
not hot anymore.
She got the ick. Because she saw Tamlin being too overprotective, actually doesn't let her do things on her own. Anything she wants, she's no longer kind of free. She feels like she's in chains. Tamlin just coddles her and tells her what to do and says, you can't go here, you can't go there. Very strict parent of the two.
Yeah, parent's the wrong word I would choose, but okay.
Okay, so you're with me though. Okay, so basically what happens at this point is she thinks in her head, because, okay, here's what's happening. There's a marriage. Did I mention marriage yet?
Sure.
Okay, so Tamlin and Feyre are gonna get married.
Okay.
So they're about to get married. In her head, she's going, this overprotective guy, oh my God, no, I don't want that.
Hold that thought.
Where are we going here? Great. I'm gonna need some kettlebell swings out of you. So she says in her head, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get married to this guy. Because why would she? She doesn't love him anymore. Rysand teleports there and saves her.
Mm-hmm.
Reason he's able to teleport because of the high Fae magic, he was also able to read her mind because they have a bond from the last book. They're bonded and connected. They can read each other's minds and see each other's minds. So he knew she was feeling she didn't want to marry Tamlin, so Rysand comes in and saves the day, gets her. What do you think?
Yeah, keep going.
What do you think her reaction is to when Rysand takes her at first?
Well, first, she's like, hey, what are you to take me away? You're not my dad.
She gives not one, but 2 Spanish quinceañera throws. Shoe tosses. Oh, 2 daggers. And you ever see the HW or George Bush?
Yeah.
Like basically that throws at Rysand. She's pissed. She's livid with Rysand. And
hey, if you're gonna make me uncomfortable listening to this goddamn book, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable.
So she's very pissed at Rysand. No, doesn't like it. What happens from there? Can you guess?
He traps her in his court. Tamlin comes after him.
No, he teaches her how to read.
Oh, that seems important.
But because remember she couldn't read from the last
Because
book?
she's a big human dummy. She's a big dumb.
That's one way. So she's being taught how to read. Rysand's like, okay, I need to teach you some things. I'm not going to kind of gives her some space and some freedom to do things on her own. But teaching her how to read. But of course, it's like flirtatious teaching. Like he'll teach her lines like, wow, isn't Rysand so delicious? And as he's teaching her to read, he's coaxing, bringing the pen over, saying, yeah, how about you write out, I really want your body.
She did the Patrick Swayze, the ghost pottery thing.
Oh, that's a great reference. Yeah, exactly like that. That's it.
Oh, let me show you.
No, you don't have to touch when you do that. But so they're flirting. They're getting on. Are you a little sick? Do you want to move spaces? Are you getting antsy?
Yeah, I want to get different exercise here.
Okay.
Hold that thought.
Okay, follow me. So we're going through the whole love story at this point. We have Tamlin coddling, protecting her, making sure that she doesn't get into any trouble, any harm's way anymore. He's focused on making sure she's okay. Rysand makes sure she's okay by encouraging her to have individual, independent growth like the woman she is. You follow?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in
freedom,
this case,
but not. Got it.
Yes, but here's how much he's very, very good and comfortable with their boundaries that they have. Anytime that she wants to go do something, he lets her do it. Anytime that she wants to back out of doing something, he's totally good with that too. Just know Rysand, comfortable with boundaries. Tamlin's very strict. We got that so far?
Got it.
Okay, good. Just making sure that you're very clear who's supposed to be. By the way, Rysand, most powerful Fae in all lands.
I thought that was Tamlin, last book.
No. It's Rysand.
But I thought in the last book it was said like Tamlin was the most powerful Fae.
I don't think it did, but Rysand, it said multiple times he's the most powerful Fae. That's important because when we have the sensual scenes later, he is the most powerful.
Got it.
Can I also say a major complaint that I have?
Go ahead. What could you complain about?
What percentage would you say that the book has sensual scenes?
I mean, based on the last book,
Yeah. What would your guesstimate be?
25%?
1%.
Really?
There's almost no smut in this. The vast majority of the book, there's actual plot.
That sounds like it's perfect for us.
What do you want to know what the plot is?
What is the plot?
So there's the romance that's happening because it's Tamlin versus Rysand. We get all that. The major plot is this. Okay, so we have, oh, by the way, they have mind shields and they can like enter each other's minds. That's important for later. So here's the plot. We're in Perinthian. Amarantha was working with the King of Hybern. Do you remember the King of Hybern? All of that. He's a bad guy.
Not at all.
So the King of Hybern, he has a cauldron. Do you remember the cauldron?
Nope.
It's powerful, and it's basically a MacGuffin. The cauldron does a lot of stuff. Cauldron's very good, powerful. We follow that. King of Hybern has a cauldron. They need to destroy the cauldron because the cauldron can do powerful things. How do you destroy the MacGuffin? Well, our team, Rysand, all of our guys over here, Rysand, Feyre, everybody has to get 2 MacGuffins to kill the MacGuffin. The 2 MacGuffins...
2 MacGuffins better than 1
The
MacGuffin.
2 MacGuffins, really 1 MacGuffin that was ripped in half because it was a book that was ripped in half. Half of it was given to the mortal queens. The other half was given to the summer court. So it's a quest of 2 parts. By the way, Rysand, the reason he was a bad guy and on that exterior is because he was actually trying to protect a secret city called Valaris that they had. Did I tell you that yet?
No, what's Valaris?
So Valaris is this secret city that Rysand has been protecting the whole time. So the reason he ended up working with, I'm going to need you to spell Feyre once more.
F-E-Y-R-E?
You're good. Okay, so
Hey, there we go.
Okay, pretty good. I set you up to fail there. So
Here, you can help me. I'll put some more weight on here. I wanted to go for...
okay, let's go ahead and do that. But anyways, so you're following this secret city Valaris. That is where 10, yes.
No, just put the 45s on there.
Oh, okay.
I want to do at least 1.
Yep, we got that. All right. But anyways, Rysand was pretending to be this evil guy and be bad to everybody because he put on this bad boy exterior in order to hide the fact that he has this city where all of his loved ones are in Valaris.
Oh.
So there's this team, this fellowship. There's people like called Amarin and 2 other names I'm forgetting, but they have all these people he loves, and he was basically being Amarantha's whore. Remember that from last book? He was being Amarantha's whore so he could protect everybody, act like a bad guy so that nobody would be suspicious. Now, on the contrary, a little bit of a plot convenience thing. If there was this bad, evil guy that was just being an asshole to everybody, I would have thought that guy would have secrets, and I would have looked into what he's doing behind closed doors. But for some reason, being the bad boy exterior actually protected the city and kept people from looking into it and acting like he had something more. The fact that he acted bad kept people from like Amarantha from looking into it any further. Is that making sense?
Sure.
Okay. Could you spell Feyre for me?
F-E-Y-R-E.
That's great. What's her last name?
Yeah, I ain't getting that one.
That's not how you're supposed to spot. Okay, so we're up to date so far. So you get it?
Yeah.
The plot is get MacGuffins and go on this quest to get 2 halves of the book. Rich, I feel like we're disconnecting here.
I think we need a new exercise.
Okay. All right, Rich. So we're up to speed. Rysand, Tamlin, we still get the drama. Now we're getting into some plot stuff where we've got 2 pieces of a book to retrieve. One from the Summer Court. That quest, it's kind of like James Bond-esque. They go around. They need to get this book from this guy named Tarquin, who actually turns out to be a pretty chill guy. Feyre actually feels bad having to take the book from him, so they do a little bit of scheming. They steal the book. They feel bad. Half the book, remember, because they need to make the full book to destroy what, remember?
Is that the cauldron?
Exactly, the super magical cauldron.
Got it.
Now,
what does the cauldron do?
I don't know, but we still haven't had a lot of sex scenes, so
I feel like we've been promised something, and we're not getting it.
But here's the build-up. The tension here is the first book, the half book is now retrieved, but now the other half of the book is with the mortal queens in the mortal land with the humans. Who do we get to see in the mortal lands but Feyre's sisters?
Did the Feyre's sisters become queens or something?
Queens? No, not queens, but they're humans so they can get in contact with the queens, obviously.
Oh, of course.
So,
I mean, the peasants always have direct contact with the royalty.
So they basically, they do their thing. They go to the sisters. So Feyre and team go to sisters. They catch them up on all the facts, like, hey, I died. I was with Tamlin. I'm back.
Of course.
I now need half the book. Could I please get half the book? Because the mortal queens, they have it. We need to destroy the cauldron. King of Hybern's going loose, etc. We get that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay,
why not?
So they end up asking. Oh yeah. What are their names?
Why didn't Feyre visit the sisters ever?
She does now.
Now.
Actually, there was a 3-month jump. Oh, because Tamlin was being protective.
Oh.
Tamlin was like, hey, you're here. You're mine. I got you. That's probably why. He was being very strict with her, not letting her be free. Now, Rhysand, on the other hand, remember, he's still being loosey-goosey, like, hey, I got your boundaries. When you don't want to do stuff, you don't want to do stuff. At one point, she vomits. He holds her hair. He's a very nice guy. He's also the most powerful in all of the lands because his name's Rhysand. How do we know he's the most powerful of all the people?
Does he do something cool?
No. But
does he have cool stuff?
It is said that he's the most powerful ever. We don't see a lot of it. Maybe in the future books we'll see it. You want to read the next one too?
I don't know. Oh man.
But here's where it's starting to get the tension's building, because now we're going back to the mortal lands. The queens are going, oh my God. No. Wait. Oh yeah, then we get the queens.
Okay.
So the queens, we get in touch with them. The queens come, and now we're ready to get the next half of the book. Now remember with Tarquin in the Summer Court, to get that first half of the book, they had to steal it, basically.
Yeah.
With the mortal queens, they have to convince them to give the book to Rhysand and team.
But the humans are weaker and smaller and inferior to the Fae. Why don't they just take it?
Give me 5 more sit-ups.
Did I ask too good of a question?
I didn't think of that one. So what happens is the mortal queens, they go, hey, we don't think you're a good guy, Rhysand, because you've been an asshole for the past 50 plus years.
Sure.
What's up? Rhysand, in order to prove to the mortal queens that he's a good guy,
does he sleep with her? That would have
been, that's what we wanted. But no.
He doesn't whore himself out like he did last time?
Between Feyre.
I mean, the last time he solved the problem by whoring himself out. Why didn't he do it again?
Now, I think the community out there would say he was abused, but I like where you're going with that. That's more.
Oh yeah, that's more fun.
But he doesn't sleep with them.
Here's like, I have the best excuse because I haven't read the book.
Exactly.
See, I'm not being ignorant or victim blaming. I just don't remember very well.
ACOTAR, this happened. Remember, he was the...
I don't remember very well.
That's fair. So what happens is the mortal queens, they need to be convinced. Rhysand naturally says to the mortal queens, he says, you know what? In order to show them I'm actually a good guy, he shows them and reveals the secret city of Valeris to show, hey, this is why I've been a bad boy. I'm really a good boy.
That sounds...
Don't clip that.
You should.
But
that sounds like a dumb idea.
Why?
He sacrificed everything to keep this city safe.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he now revealing it?
So we can get the cauldron.
But aren't the humans going to betray him in this book?
The mortal queens...
I haven't read this, but I'm assuming that they're going to turn around and sell that information immediately.
That happens immediately. So what happens is...
Look at that.
I
swear I haven't read this book before.
So they not only sell that information, they got King of Hybern, Tamlin's out there. It's nuts. So, first, Tamlin and co. come to save Feyre as if she needs saving.
Give it a pause.
Yep.
Different exercise.
Okay.
I did not work out my core enough, and it's in pain.
Okay. We'll see you in the next clip. Okay, before you really interrupted, now we had Tamlin shows up to the whole Rysand situation over there. Okay? They shows up to their court to go save Feyre. Now, in the interim at this point, it's very important to mention that Rysand and Feyre, oh wait, this happens right after. Okay, so Tamlin comes over there. Feyre says, no, I don't want to be with you. She admits that she does actually love Rysand. Because at this point,
it's a lot quicker.
He's been great. Tamlin has not been great.
Hey, she learned her lesson from the first book.
Exactly. Didn't she? Mm-hmm. And learning to read.
Learning to read.
Okay.
Learning to admit her feelings and read.
There you go. And so now,
an accomplished young woman.
Exactly. And then so what she does is she says, no, Tamlin. Actually, he sends that other guy, Lucian or whatever. Lucian sends him, and he's like, come with us. We're going to save you. She says, no, no, no. Basically, Rysand gets 7 arrows shot into him.
Got it.
Okay? So he's the most powerful in all the lands.
Yeah.
So of course he's going to survive 7. So
8, no.
No, not a chance. So he gets taken, I forget by who, gets taken by somebody. You let me know in the comments. He gets taken, and then Feyre has to go save him. Goes to save Rysand. When she goes to save him, Rysand, you okay?
There's a lot of, there's not much space
for
the other arm.
So
there we go.
Goes to save Rysand, does it. Rysand admits to her that this whole time he actually knew they were mates. Do you know what that means?
No.
It's a new world thing introduced. Mates in this world means you're fated to be with one another. You have one mate in the world. And so that's why their minds are connected. That's why they've been feeling this synergy the whole time. He's known this. In fact, I'm forgetting the details, but he's the reason why she's like a high fae to begin with and like help. Basically, he knew she was his mate, and he didn't say anything about it. He's been hiding that fact. They are soul mates. This is important because they have a magical bond now, like this. And so what that means is Feyre goes, have I been being deceived? That's the only reason you've been doing this, because you know I'm your mate. She gets over it. She realizes, okay, he's actually a great guy, and he's my mate. They feel the synergy. Now, here's where the spice ups a little bit.
Okay.
Now that they're mates, basically what happens is you have just this bond that you just want to be in bed with each other for weeks. You have this innate urge to stick in the bedroom. It's mentioned. They only have one scene.
Wait, they only mention it?
No. It's mentioned that they wanted to stay in bed for weeks. Then they kind of got up because they had to save the cauldron and the world and everything.
Hey, that's better than what was her name from Fourth Wing? That literally couldn't keep in her pants for like 5
Not
minutes.
Xaden. Violence. Yes. So right now we're catching up, and they've got both MacGuffin parts. They need to go to the King of Highburn. They go there. Everybody's there. We got Tamlin in the house. The queens. You know why the queens are there? Because they want immortality. They want to become high fae. So they're there. They're invested.
I mean, why don't they give it to them?
The thing is, they get there, and then what happens? The cauldron is what the mortal queens are looking after.
Okay.
So, in order, Nesta's there, which is the sister of Feyre. So everybody's in the house. What ends up happening?
I'm just make a prediction that the sister's gonna betray her in some way because her sisters are awful.
Here's what actually happens. You know, they got personalities. They're not like awful.
Yeah.
But the King of Highburn, in order to show to the mortal queens that the cauldron does work, he throws the 2 sisters into the cauldron. They pop out. They're high faes now too. A lot of high faes going around. By the way, Feyre has the power.
It's a nice little test. Sure.
Throws them in.
Why not?
And so what happens is Feyre actually has the powers of like 7 the 7 that helped resurrect her means she has like the powers of all of them. So she's also very powerful. What do the high faes do, and what are their abilities? I kind of forget, to be honest with you.
Spooky magic?
They do things.
They got wings?
Oh yes! How did you know that?
They got wings!
Oh, these are fairies. They're called the Illyrian. That's Rysand. There's some Illyrians, and there's some Worldbuilding there, and some stuff. Now, important part here, in this final scene, here's what it all goes down, okay? Tamlin is, in order to make sure Tamlin and that Rysand isn't hurt, what Feyre does, she does a gambit. She says to Tamlin, hey, I've been mind controlled. Remember the whole mind stuff we've been building up? I've been mind controlled this whole entire time. Rysand has been mind controlling me. I'm finally saved. Tamlin, thank you for snapping me out of it. I'm ready to go. In reality, her and Rysand give a look, a little camera wink. And he knows that she's faking it for Tamlin. Tamlin so keeps the peace. She goes with Tamlin into their court type of stuff, whatever. And what happens? It's been a couple weeks since I read this. So what happens is Tamlin and co. She's there, and she is now behind enemy lines because Tamlin doesn't know she's been faking this whole time. Thinks that she's back all in his arms, and there's something to do that I forget at the end with like the magic, and she's there, and she's basically infiltrating information for Rysand, and so now she's kind of like a double agent. So we're going into book 3, James Bond style. Okay, the thing ran out of battery. We don't know what we're doing. You want to just go read the book?
I don't, but fine.
All right, we're gonna cut screen. We're gonna talk.
I'll have read the book.
Yes, and get ready because the energy is going from very Jim Bro to something special.
A little sensual.
Little. Oh my God! I gotta. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a 5 foot away from the camera face.
Yeah. Wow. There's no way this is going in the pod. Nick, don't put. He's put it in the pod.
Hello there.
Hello. The things we do for content.
Yeah, I know.
Rich, you're looking dazzling.
Thank you. I do my best.
You just the whole episode have the rose in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
So you read ACOMAF,
Yeah.
book 2 of A Quarter Sword and Roses, a series. What do you think now from the spoilers I gave you? How did it live up to your expectations?
It was bad. Bad book. I did not have a good time. Okay, here's the correct opinion about the book. It is technically better written, but I had a less fun time. It was more boring. Because in the first one, it was kind of like The Room, where you get to make fun of it a little bit. But this one, there's kind of less to make fun of and more just I was real bored. And I thought it was a bad book.
This one was good for the fans, the people that like it. But since from book 1, you liked that there was some things outside your normal genre. So you went, oh, whoa, this is weird. Is different.
And I was like, different, weird. I love the weird thing of just like, yeah, Feyre just was like, just kind of dumb. And it was kind of weird how dumb she was. And
but she also killed people.
She also killed people. And then also, okay, here's the positive. I know we talked about in the first book of going like, yeah, she just like killed some people. And we're just going to move on from that. Didn't move on from that. It was a serious character plot point.
She had PTSD, this book.
She had PTSD. Rightfully so for my criticism in the first book. And that would be great if I was invested with these characters and this world and this story, and I wasn't. And so I was bored.
So even though you think this is a quote-unquote better book, you enjoyed yourself more with book 1.
Oh, 100%.
I gotta say, I would agree with that take. Even though the experience of these ACOTAR, ACOMAF reviews is we get to kind of go really outside what we normally do. Fantasy, sci-fi, romantasy is not our typical thing. I was hoping with ACOMAF, I've heard a lot of buildup of, everything's going to change.
Yeah.
Which one big thing did change?
We got our new boy toy for the series.
Yes.
Our new hot stuff.
As I was spoiling the book to you, the focus point was Tamlin's not the good guy anymore. It's actually Rysand, who is this bad boy exterior. And now I got to say, we've read 3 total romance books on this pod and reviewed them so far. 3.
4.
I guess that counts too. Yes.
Yes, it does.
3 atypical ones that we normally wouldn't read.
Yes.
You know, and in all 3 now, we've seen this trend of there's the 2 guys, the 2 love interests. One is the protector, the one that doesn't trust the main character, our female protagonist, doesn't trust her on her own and needs to protect her and comes off as overbearing, as Tamlin does.
Yeah.
And then you have your Rysand, who trusts Feyre.
Still protective,
But
in the right way.
Yes.
Protective, but also like, hey, I'm going to protect you up until the point where you say no, and then I'm going to trust you. Even though it hurts me inside to risk your life, I will still trust you.
And he has
That's
big
the whole-
wings.
He's got big wings.
Probably other features as well. I'm imagining.
Explicitly. It was said explicitly.
Was it?
Yes.
I might have went through it in one
No,
ear.
it was she made the comment of, so
yes.
it is true
Yes.
that fairies with big wings are big in other places.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've seen that trend now. And we're referring to one classic book, Pride and Prejudice, which we recently read and reviewed, where your classic Mr. Darcy is your bad boy exterior, but turns out there's a little bit more to that. And for Pride and Prejudice fans, you know what we're talking about.
Mr. Darcy's great. I'll honestly, more I think about it, the more I like Pride and Prejudice. I had such a great time.
That's my question then, because going to read this book, do you already feel like you got the tropes and you went, I know where this is going?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, I read one romance book, and I feel like I got it down. I'm clued in. I don't need to read anymore.
You have the formula.
I got the formula. Or at the very least, I got the formula that we've been reading. I'm sure there's other there's got to be other subgenres of, like, romance novels. I know there is. It's just all the romantasy books that we've read, I'm just comparing it to Pride and Prejudice, and it works so well. So...
Did anything from this shock you, surprise you?
Oh, no.
From the summary I gave you, did anything come out of left field of, Austin didn't mention that, I didn't expect this from book 2?
No, you gave it you set my expectations properly low. And
Just like book 1.
Yeah, but you didn't set it low enough.
Good thing you waited for me not to drink. that would have came flying out.
That would have been better content.
Not low enough. You really did enjoy this.
No, because I thought you were talking about it, and I was thinking, oh, this is going to be, like, funny bad. It wasn't funny bad. It was boring bad. Like, there wasn't any particular moment of, oh, that's funny. Other than, like, I'm trying to think of moments where it's just weird or it doesn't make sense. And most of it falls along Tamlin, where in the beginning, Tamlin makes a good bit of sense of, okay, he just saw the love of his life, die in front of his eyes. Obviously, probably going to be a little protective. Hey, I don't want you going out into the magical forest where a bunch of, demons are. Fair.
Sensible.
That's a fair, sensible thing.
To an extent.
He's got PTSD from seeing her die.
Yes.
A little protective. Fair enough. Deserves some grace. A little bit of grace in the beginning. I understand it.
Totally get that.
Then it starts getting to a point of, it's the exact same thing with Fourth Wing of, okay, we get it. Protective. She's new to this. She doesn't know how to fight. But then you start realizing, like, hey, she's actually, like, arguably the most powerful Fae.
Oh,
ever.
It said she is, right? I mean, other than Rysand. Rysand's also most powerful.
Rysand is also the most powerful Fae,
Big
of
wings,
course.
of course.
Always.
Yep.
And then she has all these powers, and he's like, no, let's not train you. And he's like, but why? Because if we train you, then other people will know that you're powerful, and they'll try and take you away. It's like, it sounds like that's going to happen anyway. Like, just might as well train. And then he just locks her up, puts her in a like, quite literally a force field cage, and just like, and then it's the little tiny things of she's getting up in the middle of the night to go throw up because, she's traumatized and suffering. And he's like, I'm just going to go back to bed. Like, where was this sensitive Tamlin that was always there before of actually caring about her, just letting her throw up by herself? Anyway, all the things is like Tamlin just kind of mind-boggling of how bad he is by the end. It just kind of doesn't make sense.
You think Sarah J. Maas here, she had to overcompensate a bit to go like, hey, I really want the reader to walk away on Rysand's side. So she just kept hammering, like, look at all this bad stuff Tamlin's doing. Look how awful he is. Look at Rysand and just how much of an amazing person he is.
And then Rysand just trauma dumping constantly. It's like, I get it. Your life sucked. You're the bestest boy. You've done nothing bad in your entire life. All the negative things are actually just this grand, beautiful tale that you're telling others to keep your friends and family safe. Ugh. Boring. Make him a little edgy. Like, give him something of like, ooh, you actually did some fucked up things, or make him actually do something pretty messed up to like Feyre. Like something to get over. But no, he's just perfect. He's just great. He's infinitely understanding, infinitely patient. It just...
Do you think part of that's... I don't want to speak for people that are fans of the series, but do you think part of that is self-inserting? Someone wants to feel like, that's the knight in shining armor, the perfect man out there. And it's a bit of this... I don't know, because somebody said this quote, and I think I said this on a previous episode. Mm-hmm. I love this. I saw it on a TikTok. I don't know. I was reading comments. I was on girl TikTok. I was on woman's side of TikTok. And
TikTok.
Yes, TikTok. And the quote was, a crush is just, as I forget the quote, a crush is just a lack of information. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, and the way you think about that is you get to learn more about somebody, and then you start to, they actually have flaws. This person, there's more to them. They're not just this person I thought they were, this knight in shining armor. But in the case of Rysand, and some of these romantasy books we read, it's you have this crush, you learn more about the person, and they are that perfect person. There is no skeletons in the closet. Rysand is the person that maybe people want them to be or want to find in the real world. I'm not trying to assume for people, but why do you think that's appealing? Because clearly it didn't match for us. Although I know Mike's book reviews will watch this video and go, we're the biggest ACOMAF, ACOTAR fans. That's because deep down, you think we don't like the series. This is the second video we've done on this.
Okay, to be fair,
the presentation here.
The presentation is what makes us do these videos. If we had to do this in a normal... if we had to do a normal video, I'd kill myself.
Okay, but the issue with that, though, is you got to say somewhere deep down, something about this is enjoyable. Something.
To me? No.
Yeah, like one little thing. What is, like, if you could find that thing that's going, you know what? I get it.
Okay. I'm having fun pattern recognition. Like, I'm recognizing patterns of this is several books in a row now where I'm starting to pick up the idea of the perfect man is the bad boy that's bad to everyone else, but is a good boy to you. Mm-hmm. That's the ideal man. Is like, he's dangerous, he's all these things, he's willing to throw down, everyone else is scared of him, and then he shows you the sensitive side. Right. That is literally every single romance book we've read. Every single, like, all four of them, that's the main guy. That's the trope. That's the thing. I mean, that is also every other romance book I've heard about and haven't actually read because
at least the
not
ones,
my genre.
At least the ones that are categories as romance, because others that aren't. So Sword of Kaigen's deeply about relationships, but I don't think you call a romance book.
No, it's
but you get what I mean, how it doesn't follow that.
It's not a romance
pattern.
novel. It's a novel that deals with a marriage and relationship.
Then what defines a romance novel? Mm. Why do you think when people think they say romantasy, and how do you see that being advertised? Of what do you expect?
I think generally a romance novel, the point is it's the dynamic of the relationship, and normally seeing a more positive route. Like, I don't know, is there such thing as a romance novel where the point of it is the couple breaks up?
Can I say, like, movie spoilers? This is like lights. It's a very popular movie.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
If you guys don't care, it's a very popular movie. Came out in 2016. I'm giving you a chance to skip 10 seconds if you don't want to know. La La Land.
True. The point of that movie is more of the will they, won't they, and then the tragedy. It's a tragic romance.
But is it a romance?
True. Yeah. Then what is the difference between something like that and the Sword of Kaigen?
The difference between when you call something, hey, this is when you're genre-fying, you're going,
yeah.
I guess with Sword of Kaigen, because the main themes and takeaway, it's, maybe that's part of it, because you think of things as a love story. Mm-hmm. When I think love story, you think rom-coms, you think like, the couple ends up together or something tragic happens where one of the partners dies, and it's It's about that connection between the two people, and either without them or with them in the end. And maybe the difference is whatever the theme of the story is. If it's a message about love and focused on love, or Sword of Kaigen, again, not spoiling things for Sword of Kaigen, but it's about more than just the L word. There's a lot of deeper themes. So when I watch La La Land, I would say that's definitely a romance film. One of the central themes is about love and about partnership and about, so with these romantasy books, they do say something about love. Now it's a different form of love, and you could call it lust in many cases too, especially those big buffly wings.
I mean, I think it's mostly the conversion of lust to love. It's like, this is what we have lust, and then actually, I kind of love you.
It's more than that.
Yeah, it's more, or supposedly more. And then I think honestly, that's probably the worst aspect of a lot of these stories is they're writing mostly a book about lust, and then the tail end, it's kind of whipped all together. Like, actually, I love you. It's like, really? When was that? When that happened? Because I just never. It's more of a, turn on the dime. Oh, actually, I found out I loved you. It's like,
well, it turns out because the person's perfect. I mean, Rysand is the perfect man. A fairy. Fae.
It's all the same.
What
was the most ridiculous plot point to you in this book? Was there anything super ridiculous?
Oh, okay. So ridiculous. We're gonna have to re-jog me. It's been like a month or two since I read the book because we're coming a bit off. I read it, told it to you, then you went and read it. But I guess my main takeaway from like what my feeling was the overall plot structure of the quests and the MacGuffins. It wasn't. I wouldn't say ridiculous, but compared to the first book threw you like a Beauty and the Beast kind of remake, and threw you in fairy world, and then had these Hunger Game trials at the end. I was going like, well, this is just
weird.
This is just things are happening, and this book, you asked me ridiculous. This is what came to mind. Is it was a lot more straightforward. It was
plot contrivances of like the plot was set up in such a specific way. Like often when you talk about like, do you feel the hand of the author on the story? You felt it of just all the weird little caveats and plot convenience. Like, oh, in this area you can just steal the MacGuffin. In this one, you actually have to get them to give it to you willingly. And like, why? And it just made a bunch of shit up. And it was just like so precise to get the exact plot details and moments that they wanted. It's like, you felt it. And it was kind of dumb. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Of just so many, like, Rysand's got, okay, we're going to train your powers by, going to visit some witch in the woods, and it's actually super dangerous and not. There we go.
I thought I thought you would have denied that. You actually shocked me there. Oh, good. I'm glad you embraced it.
I like grapes.
I like grapes so much. I'll let that go on the internet forever.
I don't care.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Yes.
We've already shown ourselves in booty shorts at this point. Like,
that's fair.
What more? What more can we do? That
if you're wondering where that episode is, we're not telling you.
No, you can find that yourself.
Actually, wasn't that the ACOTAR one?
No.
Yeah, it was. We did it. Remember we sat with. We did.
Oh, it was part of it.
It was, but then the merch dropped too.
Yeah.
Hey, check out our merch, tutorramble.com.
Yeah, we don't say that enough.
Yeah.
We got hats.
We do.
Mugs and things like
bookmarks are our favorite part because those are.
It is the highest selling thing. That's what people buy the most.
It's what I think's coolest too.
It's also the thing we put the most amount of effort into.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But your point. We'll get back to that.
I don't even know what point I was making.
You're talking about ACOMAF.
Oh, just the plot conveniences and the Rysand sent her on this super dangerous mission to get her ring back, and it's all this specific.
Right.
Like I was bored with most of it. It just was, and then this scene was going to happen. Like, how are we going to get there? The author just come up with some dumb reason to be there. That's what it felt like every time. Of like, this thing needs to happen. What dumb excuse do I need to make it happen?
Why do you think the fandom sees this as, whoa, this is the book?
Because the dialogue is better than the first one. Like, overall.
Think that's what people love about it?
I mean, yeah, the dialogue is generally smoother. There tends to be an actual character voices between them all. I was bored by it. Like, I was kind of bored, but it was at least better written than the first one, where a lot of stuff kind of comes out of nowhere.
Well, what do you think about the whole magic system and mind blocking and entering Rysen's mind and they're them being mates, all that?
Yeah, it's all the same. It's all dumb. It's all boring. Like, okay. Hey, sure, why not? They're mates. Cool. It's I don't know what you want from me. It's dumb and I didn't like it.
You ever feel like I feel like I'm an interviewer that's just getting the worst potential guest on? Like I feel like
That's every week, bud. You should have gotten that by now. We're
like-
3. How many years?
we hit 3 years, I think, this
Yeah,
month.
3 years
Wow.
in. I would have thought you learned this lesson.
No, usually I have some more substance to talk about where I fill the gaps. I got nothing either. So I'm projecting. I'm like, yeah, you're not giving me the answers on, because you know what my answer would also be? You're supposed to fill in for me.
Oh, I got it. You know what would also ground my gears, or like I could feel it?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Spin-off coming is Feyre's sisters being thrown into the cauldron and becoming Fays themselves. I'm going like,
Yeah.
oh, spin-off number 2 and 3. Got it.
They probably become a significant portion.
Oh,
of
I'm
the future
sure.
ones.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they're going to be leading their own books.
I got something.
Like,
I got something
yeah.
you would like.
Oh, what did I like?
I know you like this a little bit. You always say this is your favorite part. One of your things you appreciate about the Wheel of Time is that the back home aspect of Wheel of Time, it's not like they just forget about home. They go back.
No ASMR for you.
Did you just chew right into
Yeah,
that?
I hope it was loud enough that they couldn't hear you.
Do you get my point though?
Yeah.
Of Wheel of Time, you like that they didn't just forget about home and it's actually a factor. And do you like that? Hey, the sisters aren't just forgotten about.
Kind of, but if the
could go back
sisters
then.
were better, sure. But the sisters are mostly boring. And like, one's nice, cool, and the other's just an ass the entire time for any reason. No, like, she's just awful.
She's totally gonna get redeemed.
And
we know that.
it's like, oh, she's awful because she's puts up these walls around her, and it's a protective thing. You're like, no, she's a dick. No, don't give dicks excuses. Like, the amount of times dicks kind of just excuse themselves by saying, oh, it's actually a protective mechanism because, no, you're an asshole. Don't try and pretty up being an asshole of like, it's because of my trauma. No trauma really excuses being an asshole to others. You're just an asshole. I don't care what excuse you have. Don't be a dick. Like, that's free. It costs nothing to not be a dick.
Scratch that off. Okay, so you didn't like that aspect of the book.
No.
Let me.
Oh, okay. I will say this.
But maybe
I loved the fact that the dad was equally useless in this book as well. We had to write about because he has nothing. He is just the worst father.
I forgot he was in the book.
It's because he wasn't in there. He was gone because, of course, he's gone at the most important time for Feyre's life. He's the worst.
Oh, also the fact that so Feyre, let's get this right. She did die last book. She came back because of the Fey magic. The world building in general. I know you weren't impressed, but what was your take of the world building?
Book 1 was much worse because it just was.
Oh, you liked it better here in book 2.
I think so.
Oh,
I think slightly better.
okay. That's positive for you.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of more.
Yeah.
Not necessarily better. I don't think anything particularly came out of nowhere. That's the better part. Like, up until the Amarantha Under the Mountain stuff in the first book,
Sure.
it was all kind of made sense. It's this mystery. It's this world. It's the Amarantha stuff where a bunch of world building stuff came out of nowhere. It's like, well, okay, fine. This is kind of weird and a bunch of plot conveniences. Where this one, Hidden City, the magic is kind of carrying over from that whatever fairy or not fairy magic king that's trying to take over the world.
Qyburn, right?
I don't care.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter.
I wrote
Villain
notes.
guy.
I have no.
Joke's on you. You wrote notes.
The reason I wrote notes is like I knew I was going to run out of things to say.
You got to get your riffing. You just got to get better at riffing on bad
things to ask you because
okay,
I'm
got
I'm
it.
going like ask me a question about the book. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the best friend character, like Tamlin's friend, who's also
Amryn.
the guy that was friends with Feyre, but ultimately
Tamlin's best friend.
Yeah, Tamlin's best friend. that
Starts with an
ultimately
L, right?
something like that.
Lauren.
He has red hair. The red hair guy.
Yes. What were my thoughts on him?
Yeah, the fact that he seemingly betrays Feyre,
Yep.
but not, is trying to help her out, but by the end feels like he's just kind of making excuses for Tamlin.
Oh, you know what? It correct me if I'm wrong too. The very end of the book, she's going on a spy mission now. She's infiltrating, right? And he's the one.
He's having none of it.
He's the one that's very suspicious. So I'm guessing in the next book we're gonna get a lot. That's the conflict that we're starting off with. Of he knows something's up, and he's gonna try to prove to Tamlin that hey, she's not on your side.
Do you think Feyre's gonna drop Rhysand just for the mission, and then we're gonna have a new love interest of the
Switches back to
no, not Tamlin, the best friend now.
just every book is a new guy.
Every book's a new guy.
You just make the previous book's protagonist or main
villain,
love
yeah.
interest look like an asshole.
Yeah.
Get the new guy to look amazing. And the story about ACOTAR, ACOMAF, all this, A Court of Thorn and Roses, is just that everybody actually is a bad person if you just pry far enough. Yeah. I would really respect that, because if the message of this is about love is you can think you know somebody deep down. By the way, I'm like engaged in like weddings this year, so I don't believe this. I just think it's a message you could say. If once you get to know somebody deep enough, you then find out in reality you're never going to find love, because your qualifications and your bucket list you're looking for is just too much. You're never going to find the perfect person. Everybody always has skeletons in the closet. Feyre, love is pointless.
You got to pick someone and just tough it out.
Yeah.
At some point, they're just gonna.
I would respect that, because Rhysand's so perfect. You just want to see something. You want to see some more juice to that character.
I would love for him to like have some type of flaw of any type would be nice. And really, because the fact that she is so hesitant to like enter that relationship with him is kind of dumb. Like, he's just so perfect. It's like, what are you waiting for, girl? Like, at this point, come on. He's literally everything.
It's to the point where the decision at the climax of the book, where she finds out he wasn't fully honest about being her mate. Didn't reveal that right away.
Dumb. Like,
yeah, what did you think? Yeah.
Okay, well, this is again.
Also, I'm so glad we have chairs. This is so uncomfortable.
This is awful.
Yeah. Anyway, so thoughts on the
There
mate.
we go. I can lean against
That's
the bookshelf.
Pretty smart, actually.
We're still in frame.
All right, great.
No, but thing is, that's a common thing with it's a trope with Fourth Wing as well.
Yeah.
Of you weren't 100% honest with me on you didn't unveil your deepest, darkest secret to me on our first date, so go fuck yourself. That also reared its head here, so it's kind of.
And now, what do you think the level is, the scale of what you need to say early on in dating? Because, for example, if you are going on a date with somebody, and let's say you have a, I'll think of something less severe, less like part of your life. I was
going
to say
you have a kid.
Yeah,
yes,
you say you have a kid.
That's important information.
Yeah, that's very important. Like, because what I'm asking here is like, this is a big part of Feyre and his, like, he knew they were mates, and that's a big deal in this world. So would you say that's a first date, first intro kind of thing to go, hey, you should tell the person you have kids. You should tell the person you're their mates. I guess, why does it come across that way of what should you not reveal to somebody early on? Like, what's something that you should learn about? I mean, first date. This isn't for you. You're the type of person to discuss religion, politics, and your wing size, like first date.
Oh, yeah, that's important. Right out of the gate.
Let's be clear.
Let's set the expectations appropriately.
So then, what would you say then? Because why does that come across in this book of, that's why are you so freaked out? Just the whole mate thing? And
well, no, it made sense in the sense of, why did Rhysand not tell her? Well, when he found out she was in love with Tamlin, and he was like, hey, I'm not going to blow up her relationship because of, this kind of magical bullshit. I'm just going to suffer it and move on. And then once she is with it, it's just going like, hey, I don't want to like take advantage of this situation. I want her to actually love me for me, or I don't want to influence her decision with that information, because then she's going to feel compelled. That's why he.
It makes sense
held it
why
off.
he holds it back. Yeah.
Yeah, because saying, "Oh, you're my fated one," like you're literally magically bound to me, is kind of, I don't know, tainting the cup.
Wouldn't you rather fall in love and then be told that you're from your parents that this is an arranged marriage?
Yeah, generally that's
you'd rather
better.
You'd rather go like, "Oh, I love this person." Then your parents go, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're forcing you to marry this person." You're like,
neat.
Okay,
Cool.
I guess so. So she fell in love with him and then got the added factor of you're mates for life, and that's a big deal as well.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, we're mates and I hate you.
Yeah.
Or mates, and then you do fall in love with them, but you go, did I fall in love with them just because we're mates?
And then
It's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You got the natural love and you got the plot love. The plot armor of like, oh yeah, we were fated.
Yeah.
So it's all around pretty good vibes.
Sure.
Pretty happily ever after in that way. I should say that because she's with Tam when she's infiltrating, doing all the spy stuff now, which
that's probably going to be spicy. I just know there's going to be a scene of her and Tamlin together.
Does she have to fake it?
She's probably going to have to fake it. Like I
has
would
to go
be
back
surprised.
to Rise and say I had to sleep with him because it was part of the job.
Well, no, even better. The mental shield's like, he's going to feel it. He's going to know. They're going to have that link, and she's like, I'm thinking of you while I'm doing him. And like, that's going to happen. I know it. I feel it in my bones, and I know that's going to be a plot point.
And then it's going to be a bit of a rift between Rysand and her. They'll get through it in the end.
Yeah.
Something like that. Hey, we could be wrong, but
we could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm probably right.
That's how
Will I read to confirm if I'm right? No. I don't want to read the third book.
We'll read the comments though, right?
We'll read the comments. But I hope this. I'm hoping from the bottom of my heart this video does shit. I want this to be our worst performing video, because then there's no reason to read the book 3. I already don't want to read book 3, but if this is like our best video, it's like, ugh.
But the things that I love about this series, there's 2 things I like.
What do you like?
It's not the book, but there's 2 other things. It's one, the extended lengths we have to go to do something new and fresh in the part 1 and part 2 of this video.
Oh,
because
yeah.
if we get to a third video, we're gonna have to up the stakes, and we'll figure out, I guess, how if that ever happens.
It's not gonna go well.
Yeah. But the second thing is just seeing.
By the way, I put all this on the corporate credit card. I hope you know.
Okay, that's what, $100? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
This video's, I intended for us to lose money.
This is a loss of profit. For sure, but that's fine.
I just want you to know that one.
Oh, the block, actually the shelves.
Yeah, I'm going to put it all on.
Now the thing though that I like about this as well is we see a side of you we don't normally get to see. You don't get too flustered with books every now and then. Like the book behind your head.
When
right
have I
there,
ever been flustered?
behind
in this video.
No, look behind you.
Ah, yes.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like you don't get a Name of the Wind rich you don't get that every day.
Oh, yeah, when I just don't like a book.
Yeah, you just get you kind of just you're done. You give up. You think, do I actually like books? You're like, this is. You don't see that too often.
Well, Name of the Wind makes me question things of like, I know it's a well-written book and I really hate it. And then I, thought it through and I understand why. This one, from the get-go, I'm like, yeah, it's a book that's not written for me. For the most part, I'm not supposed to enjoy it. I'm not the target demographic. I'm not the target audience. It was not written for me. And I don't have to like it. Other people feel free to like it. Like, I don't have to like your favorite book. If you loved it, then awesome. There's going to be books I love that I know it's like, yeah, this is written for no one else. But people like me and my narrow beliefs like that, I know that exists. So
I want to know the person out there that loves ACOMAF and also Neuromancer.
That's an interesting combo.
Is there a person like that out there? Because you could read Neuromancer and go, hey.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those books of like, it's for me. I like it. I understand why other people don't. It's not written for everybody. So, yeah. The only book that I know of that's written for everybody. Everyone should enjoy this. And if you don't like it, there's probably something wrong with you, is Andy Weir. The Martian and Project Hail Mary are a written for everyone book. It's the exception to the please everyone, please no one rule.
That's the exception.
It's the exception. It's for everyone. So, yeah.
So is ACOMAF a success for the people and the audience it's going for?
I hope so. I hope she makes all her money. Sarah J. Maas, collect that bacon, but probably not going to get any more bacon from me if I can help it. So please don't like this video. Don't comment. Don't give this engagement. Ideally, I wish that you could go back in time, and if clearing your history removes the watch data, I'd prefer that. Make sure this video is one of our worst performing videos, and then we won't do this again. And that'd be grand. I really hope for it.
How do you feel that the reading time going into ACOMAF could have been going into Sun Eater or something else?
That hurts. It hurts a lot.
Does it?
I will say, though, the one benefit was reading ACOMAF, and then I think the order of events, I'm trying to remember, I read Pride and Prejudice and ACOMAF back to back, and that was wonderful. That was a perfect comparison reading experience of read awful romance book to
You
awesome
read Pride and Prejudice
book.
first and then ACOMAF. So
Yes.
maybe that also affected your view of ACOMAF a bit.
Very well could be.
Yeah.
But it made my experience, fondness for Pride and Prejudice so much higher.
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen,
She knows where it's at.
she's the gal. She is the woman. She's great.
Hey, it has similar tropes in there. Similar
Oh, yeah.
things. But
Just well executed.
handled better.
Yeah. Well executed tropes. Well, I love it.
Guys, gals, I think this was another ACOTAR ACOMAF review. I don't know if we'll be doing a third one. The only reason I want to do a third one is because of Rich's pain. Really, that's the only reason at this point. I enjoy when you suffer, generally.
I'll be honest. I don't think I'm going to. Next book, I'll read the wiki before we do it.
Worst-
And I'll just lie.
Worst thing, you'll have me read the book and then just not do the
No,
episode.
here's the best part is have you read it.
Yep.
Say I've read it, and we go through the whole review. I've read the wiki, or not even the wiki. I just make up my opinion. And at the very end of the video, I just look at you and the camera and said,
I never read it.
lied. I never read the book. Bye. That
Honestly,
would be good.
The way we've done this review as well, very easily could have been a wiki review.
Oh, I would not need to
Because
read this book.
I don't think we brought up enough details to prove that we've read this book in this review.
No, it isn't. To be fair,
Why
I
don't
don't
you
think
give
the
a detail-
details are really worth
Give a detail that only a book reader would know.
Okay. I mean, I kind of already did. Feyre confirmed after the whole sex scene with Rysand that
I said that in
ring
the
scene-
spoiler-free part too. I said that in the.
Oh.
All right, not the
I
spoiler-free.
corrected you.
I said that in the first part. Yeah.
Okay, another scene. Basically, there was the moment where one of the not as asshole queens left the paper under her seat to give to the fairies because she was like, "Hey, I believe you guys. Let's don't trust the other queens because they're assholes." And so, I'm being very juvenile with my language.
You tell us.
mostly on purpose.
Did Rich read this book? I don't know.
You'll never know.
I do because you called me saying I don't want to keep reading this book every time you're in the car with the audiobook playing.
The amount of times I just called you because I
Instead
didn't
of
want to
that,
put on the audiobook.
There were a lot more calls from Rich in the last go around. Yeah, that's when you know.
Maybe that's why when you think I've been too distant from you, you can just we're going to
he's
read
reading
we're going to read the next ACOTAR book, and that way I'll actually talk to you.
Or if you're distant, I know you're reading Sun Eater or something, and I'm like, oh, okay,
That's true.
he's having a good time. You only call me when you're miserable.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, that was another a review of sorts.
That's a review.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah.
Well, how would you say that review was?
Well, I hope people enjoyed it more than I enjoyed reading the book.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.